Hello, and thank you for tuning in to Petty Time with Petty Murphy, here reporting to you live from the back of the classroom at Akata News Network. Well, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I know it has been a while since you have seen me. Did you miss me? Well, I know you did, because I missed all of you. Calm down, Petty. Calm down. Let's keep it together. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, when it comes in regards to issues with our own 1199 SEIU and its elected officials, that they like to use conjecture and propaganda, such as things like $60,000 being stolen by the then president, Mr. George Gresham, or it's things like they said about a young man that worked at NYU by the name of Hamadi Scruggs, that he was a tyrannical, just lost his mind addict who didn't know how to deal with grief. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we like to do here at Akata News Network is when we come to you with the news, we don't like to use conjecture. We don't like to use propaganda or like to use expertly crafted narratives to smear and shit on people's names. What we like to do is come to you with receipts. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to actually get over to Nab Turner and let him give you a little bit of some breaking news. What's popping? And then, you know, as I always say, ain't nothing new under the sun. So today we're going to actually get to this article, which the link will be in the description, from the Payday Report. All right. As you can see, exclusive SEIU officials publicly smear Me Too activists. As you can see here from the screenshot, this whole hashtag Me Too shit got the whores coming out. Hashtag Karma's a bitch, liked by our own Veronica Turner. All right, now this article was written February 18th, 2018 by Mike Elk. Now, what I want you to keep in mind, what you're about to see, the actual receipts, the tangible receipts that are certified facts, right? This is not conjecture or propaganda or someone in the union telling you who they have anonymous tips may have stole money. These are actual receipts, ladies and gentlemen. So now that we're brewing, get ready to sit back and sip some of that tea. Now, if this is how they treat victims, if this is how the woman secretary treasurer handles situations with union members as a woman, imagine what they're doing for individuals that are also victims for far lesser issues, if this is how they handle Me Too situations. That being said, let's get to the article. Payday Report has learned that top SEIU officials have taken to social media to smear women, accusing Massachusetts SEIU 1199 executive director Tyrek D of sexual misconduct. Lee was suspended from his job as the head of the 55,000 member SEIU local in December amid allegations of sexual misconduct. According to the Boston Globe, Lee sometimes used vulgar language in text and emails about sexual acts he wanted to perform with them. They said Lee's pursuit of colleagues included women who were younger and subordinate to him, putting the women in difficult positions of dating or rejecting a superior. Quid pro quo. Lee was suspended and is currently undergoing sensitivity training while SEIU debates whether to retain him. Staffers who spoke to Payday said at this point, it is unclear whether he will be fired, and there are rumors circulating that he may return to the job. As the head of the 55,000 member union, Lee is a powerful, influential figure who has given patronage jobs to many political lieutenants and led his support to many top SEIU officials. Now, it appears that many of those some political allies are attempting to smear Lee's opponents, both on social media and in a whisper campaign that even as Lee's future with the union is being debated. On Friday, shortly after the Boston Globe published an article outlining allegations against Lee, SEIU 1199 Massachusetts staffer Tia Searcy posted on Facebook, "The whole Me Too shit got the whores coming out," and added an emoji featuring a hand with a middle finger raised and the hashtag "Karma's a bitch." As you can see right here, a copy of the screenshot liked by our own Secretary Treasurer Veronica Turner, who allegedly has been linked to the individual in question. But that said, the post describing Me Too activists was liked on Facebook by Senior Vice President and SEIU 1199 United Healthcare Workers East, Veronica Turner, who was currently now our, Turner previously held Lee's job before promoting him to executive director when she was promoted to senior VP for the multi-state SEIU 1199 United Healthcare Workers East. As a top official, the multi-state local, Turner is one of several officials whose input will play a key role in the decision over whether to retain Lee after allegations of sexual misconduct. By liking a post labeling Me Too activists as whores, Turner has sent a chilling message that could prevent future Me Too activists within SEIU from coming forward. In response to Searcy's initial post accusing Me Too activists of being whores, Turner's sister, who uses the Facebook name Shug's Sweet Thang, again, Shug's Sweet Thang Turner, we wonder how sweet it is, allegedly, posted in a reply saying, "Me too now," but was screaming "me first then" while they were on their knees, as you can see here in the screenshot. SEIU 1199 Senior VP Turner also liked that post. For Me Too activists within SEIU, these posts constitute a troubling attempt to smear activists, as the decision about whether will Lee be able to return to the union is being debated internally. Payday Report reached out to SEIU over the President's Day weekend, but the union did not immediately return Payday's request for comment. However, after the initial wave of Me Too activists won major victories last fall, some organizations have begun to allow those accused of sexual misconduct to stay in their current jobs. In January, the New York Times decided to allow top political correspondent Glenn Thrush to stay in his job after being accused of groping and sexual misconduct on several occasions by former staffers at Politico. At the time, Thrush took to the press to smear his accuser, Vox editor Laura McGahn. A chorus of media voices also advocated for Thrush being retained. Ultimately, the New York Times allowed Thrush to stay after a 2-month suspension and sexual misconduct. Since this was the first high-profile case where a man was allowed to stay after credible allegations of sexual misconduct were made against him, Me Too activists worried that Glenn Thrush's precedent would have ripple effects as other organizations debated whether to keep powerful men accused of sexual misconduct. As SEIU grapples with a widespread sexual misconduct problem, it appears that top SEIU staffers are engaging in a similar smear campaign in support of disgraced SEIU 1199 Executive Director Tyrek D. If successful, it could send a troubling signal to other labor leaders hoping to avoid punishment after engaging in sexual misconduct. You can share this article. Again, the link will be in the description. Mike Elk is an Emmy-nominated labor reporter. He founded Payday Report using National Labor Relations Board settlement from being illegally fired in the union drive at Politico in 2015. He can be emailed at the address on the screen, and you best to believe that will be being done because we've got a lot of receipts to share and go back and forth with Mr. Mike Elk. That being said, I'm going to send it back to old Petty, and he'll close this out. Remember, this is up to us. We are the only ones that are going to be able to fix this because we've all been set up. And whether they are the American Negro, which are scandalous Sambos, or those of an immigrant lineage that are tethering along tyrannically. But those of us that come from either group, whether the foundational Black American group or naturalized citizens or birthright citizens that come from an immigrant lineage, but those of us that stay on code and stand true together as one in the trenches, it's time for us to start walking these dogs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the house studio with the one and only Petty Murphy, here reporting to you live from the back of the classroom at Akata News Network. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that I've been allowed to leave the cage. It's not often that I get familiar with the familiars. But before we get started, we want to start with the words of our own foundational Black American brother, Kendrick K. Lamar, and as he said, you can tell a lie about me, but I'm going to tell the truth about you. And here at the network, what we like to do, especially our own Nap Turner and our brother, the Gullah, aka Kevin Richardson, like to do is we like to connect all the dots, cross your T's and dot your I's, but most importantly, we like receipts. And that being said, we want to say thank you to all the they thems out there who have realized that there is actually a network of the like mind, or as I said before, the 3% that's on your head, boy, because what we're doing now is we've literally started putting figurative boot to neck and that figurative belt to ass for all the past transgressions, because now transparency is forcing accountability. The only difference is that unlike the Slate members, we're not relying on he said, she said, or conjecture, or expertly crafted narratives by the alleged legal department. No, ladies and gentlemen. What we're bringing to you are receipts, actual documentation, legislation or articles in the press, or even from time to time where we may come across a judgment in the judicial arena, because all of that is public information. Just like as the tax returns or 990 forms of said nonprofit 1199 SEIU, you who are in trouble, because what you've done systematically is you forced a group of people to realize that for all the differences we may have, there's one thing that we have in common, and that is the sadistic, scandalous bums such as yourselves. Because see, for every tyrannical tether in the upper echelons, there's always someone with the frontal lobe the side of a peanut just clanking against the glass as the lone ice cube in a empty tumbler. But what are they? They are the sad and sadistic Sambo, also known as the American Negro, who, while the rest of us, birthright and naturalized citizens alike, stand together unified as one, fighting the oppressive bullshit that the union has been able to do continuously over the years, ladies and gentlemen, unchecked. Well, we've decided those times are over. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for tuning in for this Petty Time news brief here at Petty Time with Petty Murphy. You know, before I go though, I can't leave without saying this. For all of you who worked in league with all the different people in high places at different institutions, crafting up and allowing things to be said and swept under the rug as if they did not exist, not knowing all the time the one-party state allowed us to document everything. And ladies and gentlemen, continue to do that and make sure everything is done through email so you have a paper trail, because at the end of this day, just like the dastardly demonic, diabolical, demon-esque bullshit that you all tried to create on the members that you fucked over over the years? Well, just as Miss Circe said, karma's a bitch, and it's spinning the block. And it's spinning the block in the form of us. Except this time when we spin the block, unlike you, there will be no expertly crafted malarkey narrative that's just simply not true. No, it'll be nothing but just receipts, actual proof of all of the demonic and just calm down, Betty. Calm down. But stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, because we promise you, things are about to get very, very interesting, because when you ask the universe for what you want, it has a wonderful way of delivering. And that's why we want to say thank you to all of you who realize that we're out here letting that smoke wagon go. Like Wyatt Earp or Doc Holliday. And we're going to ride this wagon until the wheels fall off. And after that, we'll walk our boots down to the insoles. Just to get accountability. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, we will bid you adieu. And thank you for tuning in to Petty Time with Petty Murphy here at Akata News Network. You thought it was over? So, sweet sugar thing. I wonder, does it rain when Mr. Lee gets bored? Or will we have to ask those? Never mind. Don't go there, Petty. Don't go there. It's too far. We want to keep the network. But my thing is this, is you came from Boston and he came from Boston, yet here you are, and now he's in charge of what? Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever asked yourself, what is Tyrek now doing in 1199 New York City? I mean, we know he likes to, allegedly, according to the Boston Globe. I wonder what R. Kelly would have to say about that. Can you let him know, Kels, please? I don't even want. I kid. Just a little bit of conjecture or narrative, except this time we've got receipts. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, okay. Don't bother this, what do they call it? Intrusive thought of old Petty. He's seen now, but I tell you what, right now I'm happier than a pig wallowing in shit. Because, woo, we're cooking hotter than fish grease. Calm down, Betty, calm down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. We bid you adieu, good night, and good evening from your one and only Petty Murphy, here reporting to you live from the back of the classroom at Akata News Network.